They told me not to talk to the Val'kara. Don't make eye contact, don't speak unless ordered. And for the love of Earth, do not flirt with them. Yeah, well, I've never been great at following advice. Especially not when a 7-foot-tall goddess of war steps off a gunmetal landing skiff, wearing armor that looks sculpted from obsidian and rage. Her eyes glowed like twin suns behind a black visor, her jaw sharp enough to slice open an apple, and her voice, it was low, gravelly, and terrifying in the hottest possible way. I was just a cargo tech. Nothing fancy. I fixed boxes, loaded crates, pressed buttons that beeped and pretended to understand interstellar customs forms. I wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the first blade of the Val'kara Empire. But fate, or poor planning, put me in her path. She glanced down at the manifest in my hand, then at me. I swallowed. Human, she said. I looked up slowly. That voice hit like thunder behind closed doors. Igrigagia. She scanned me like I was either prey or an unsatisfying snack. You were the shipment handler for Drop Point 7. It wasn't a question. I nodded, heart hammering. Yup, that's me. Jake Mercer, Earth Fleet. Part-time box wrangler, full-time, charming rogue. She tilted her head. Her braided white hair shimmered with faint bioluminescence. She stepped closer. Charming? It was the way she said it. Like the word was an ancient curse that had never dared approach her mouth until now. So, naturally I panicked. Yeah, well, you know, humans use humor to defuse tension. And, I guess I just said that because, I glanced at her hips. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Cataclysmic even. I mean, you've got a very symmetrical, tactical lower half. For balance. For combat balance. Her visor slid up, revealing golden eyes and a look of absolute disbelief. Did you just compliment my rear? No. I mean, yes. I mean, not in a weird way. She blinked. Once. Twice. Then her cheeks, sharp, sculpted, frighteningly beautiful, tinted a faint shade of violet. She blushed, and then she slapped me. I flew 7 feet backward into a cargo pallet, knocking over a stack of thermal cores. My back hurt. My pride hurt. Everything hurt. She stepped toward me, armor clanking like a funeral march. I accept, she said. I groaned. Accept what? You've made your interest clear. You'll report to my war cruiser by nightfall. Bring your mating documentation. What? You have flirted with me in the presence of witnesses, she said, gesturing toward a horrified docking crew. You have acknowledged the excellence of my form and attempted to establish dominance through humor. These are the rituals of Val'kara courtship. I was just being stupid, not romantic. Same thing, she said. Among warriors, foolishness and boldness are indistinguishable. She turned on her heel and walked away. And just like that, I was engaged to an alien war goddess. The war cruiser was called Vorth Kai, which loosely translated to Blood Crystal Vengeance in Val'kara. That should have been my first clue this was not going to be a relaxing honeymoon. I stood in the docking bay, surrounded by towering warriors in blackened armor, each of them eyeing me like I'd tracked mud into their temple. Some looked confused. Most looked murderous. A small alien, gray skin, big eyes clipboard scuttled up to me. Human male Jake Mercer? Yeah, I said, gripping my duffel bag like it might help. That's me. You are now property. Pardon, consort of First Blade Zalvanna Corps. He didn't even blink. You are hereby granted limited access to decks 3, 5, and 9. Attempting to access any other area will result in immediate vaporization. Oh, cool. Great system. Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not attempt to initiate mating until the combat ritual is completed. I'm sorry, what? The little guy handed me a stack of documents and scurried off like this happened every Tuesday. I looked up just in time to see her enter. Zalvanna. She wore a different kind of armor now, ceremonial, trimmed in gold, etched with battle honors I couldn't read. Her hair was braided tighter, her posture straighter. She looked like a predator that had just spotted dessert. You're late, she said. I glanced at the alien clock. By 30 seconds? Unacceptable. My mate will be punctual or punished. Listen, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I didn't mean to propose. I was just being a dumb human. You succeeded, she said flatly. Now you are mine. She marched off. I had no choice but to follow her through a massive hall lined with spears, glowing orbs, and what looked suspiciously like preserved heads. Not metaphorical ones. I don't even know your customs, I said, trying to keep up. Shouldn't there be a dating phase? Coffee? Awkward silences. She stopped at a set of bronze double doors, which hissed open. Inside was a chamber the size of a basketball court. One half was a meditation garden full of blue crystals. The other half was what could only be described as a hot tub surrounded by weapons. Romantic? Maybe. Terrifying? Absolutely. This is your mating chamber, she said calmly. I coughed. Wow. Direct. You Val'kara don't beat around the bush, huh? She turned slowly. There's a bush-beating ceremony. It comes after the trial of flame and before the oath of suffering. Okay, just gonna pretend I didn't hear that. She stepped closer, her eyes glowing faintly. You fear me. I mean, yeah, you're a foot taller, stronger than a rhino, and you slapped me in the next week for calling your butt nice. You were foolish, she agreed, but also bold. We honor such audacity. She leaned in. You intrigue me, Jake Mercer. No one flirts with the first blade. No one survives doing so. That's heartwarming. You are to remain here. Do not touch anything ceremonial. Do not challenge anyone to a duel. Do not die. Wait, what? But she was already gone. I stared around the room, then at the pile of consort robes left on a glowing table. One was made of chainmail. One was made of feathers. The third just said, "Bite me," in angry alien glyphs. I sat down and put my head in my hands. Flirting with her was definitely a mistake. But now I was starting to wonder if not flirting might have been worse. They woke me up at what I assumed was space dawn by banging a war drum the size of a small SUV. A booming voice echoed through the chamber. Consort, the trial of worth begins now. If you die, you will be replaced. Trial of what now? 2 armored warriors escorted me, dragged me, really, down a corridor that smelled like fire, sweat, and unresolved trauma. I was still wearing the robe with angry glyphs. I'd later learn it said, "Delicate meat." They shoved me into a giant arena surrounded by snarling Val'kara soldiers. The stone floor was scorched, the walls decorated with ceremonial blades, and across from me stood a mountain of angry muscle in armor that hissed with heat. Combatant, Kothrak, the announcer called out. Seeker of the blade, 12-time winner of the trial. The crowd cheered. Then the announcer gestured to me, confused. Human male. Jake. He insulted the first blade's posterior. The crowd roared. Half laughed. The other half looked like they wanted to eat me. Kothrak raised a flaming war axe and stomped toward me like an angry volcano. I had nothing. No weapons. No armor. Just flip-flops and a bad attitude. Any last words? He growled. I'm not insured for interstellar murder. I offered. He grunted and swung. I ducked purely by instinct, and he missed by inches, his axe embedding in the stone wall with a boom. The shock wave threw me onto my butt. Okay, I muttered. Stay low, panic strategically. He roared and came again. I rolled. He tripped over my fallen sandal and face-planted into the wall with a crack. The crowd gasped. I blinked. Did I just? He stood up, blood leaking from his nose, and screamed. You mock me, human? I mean, you kind of did that to yourself, I said, brushing dust off my robe. I was just over here, trying not to die in flip-flops. He charged. So, I did the most human thing I could think of. I pointed behind him and yelled, Look, your honor is escaping. He turned reflexively. I kicked him in the back. He stumbled forward into a pillar, dazed. The crowd went silent. Then someone clapped. Then others. Then the entire chamber erupted in laughter and war chants. Kothrak lay groaning, tangled in ceremonial flags. A horn sounded. Combat resolved, the announcer declared. Human Jake has achieved victory through dishonorable cunning. There was a pause, which we now declare honorable enough. The crowd went wild. I stood there, dazed, breathing hard, when Zalvanna entered the arena from the upper gallery. She looked down at me like I'd just grown another head. You survived. Barely. You improvised. Panicked. You won. Technically, she gave the faintest smile. You are full of surprises. And bruises. So many bruises. She motioned to the crowd, and they bowed their heads. All of them. Even Kothrock, who was spitting blood and grinning like he'd just seen his mom kiss a volcano. You have passed the first trial, she said. Wait. First, Zalvanna's smile widened just slightly. There are 4 more before the mating ceremony. I stared up at her. You're enjoying this. I'm preparing you, she said, for what it means to be my mate. Death by flirting, I muttered. What a way to go. She turned, her voice carrying over her shoulder. Rest well, Jake Mercer. Tomorrow is the trial of fire. I slumped to the floor. One dumb compliment. That's all it took. And now I was a warrior champion in an alien gladiator romance plot. God help me. Turns out the trial of fire isn't metaphorical. It's literal. Very, very literal. I was escorted to a circular forged chamber glowing with red-hot metal, molten lava flows, and at least 3 dragons made entirely of plasma. Probably decorative. Hopefully decorative. The same tiny alien aide from before handed me a charred scroll. To pass the trial of fire, you must forge a weapon worthy of the first blade. I don't know how to forge anything except excuses. The aide blinked. Then you will die artistically. Before I could protest, the heavy doors slammed shut behind me. They gave me a forge, tools I didn't know how to use, and a chunk of, or that pulsed like a heartbeat. Somewhere above, Val'kara elites watched from balconies, murmuring in their harsh language. And among them, Zalvanna, silent, regal, glowing, always watching. Don't die, I muttered to myself, wiping sweat from my brow. Or do die, but make it funny. I swung the hammer. It bounced. I tried again. A spark flew into my sleeve. I panicked and smacked it out, accidentally elbowing the tongs into the lava. Great start. I breathed. Focused. Tried again. And again. After an hour of trial and error, and a lot of burnt fingers, I ended up with something. Not a masterpiece. Not even symmetrical. But blade. Kind of. More like a metal banana with a pointy end. I held it up proudly. The crowd fell silent. Then one judge laughed. Then another. And then everyone was laughing, except Zalvanna. She stood, descended the steps slowly, and entered the chamber. I gulped. So, I passed. She walked right up to me, stared at the blade, then at me. You forged this. I forged something. Technically. She took the weapon, turned it over, and sliced a thick iron testing block in half with a single swipe. Even the laughter stopped. She looked back at me. It is ugly, awkward, crude, ouch, but effective, unexpected, defiant. She handed it back. This blade is a reflection of its maker, and I approve. Wait, what? Zalvanna stepped closer. You confuse me, Jake Mercer. I confuse myself. You lack discipline, technique, honor. Is this a pep talk or a roast? But you have spirit, audacity, fire. Her hand brushed my shoulder. She flinched a little at the contact, like it surprised her. Then she let it linger. You make me laugh. You make me feel things I've not felt since I was young and stupid. Oh, are you saying I make you feel young and stupid? She blinked, stunned for half a second, then smirked. Careful. I could still have you incinerated. Yeah, but you won't. Why not? Because then you'd have to find a new idiot to drag through all these trials. There was a long pause. Then she chuckled. Not a terrifying growl or war cry. A real, amused sound. It was weirdly beautiful. She shook her head. You are not what I expected. Neither are you. I'm a war goddess. Yeah, but sometimes you act like a person. That caught her off guard. Her expression shifted, like no one had ever dared say that to her. Ever. I will see you tonight, she said softly, backing away. For the trial of truth. Do I need to bring a fireproof banana again? She laughed, actually laughed, and vanished through the steam. And just like that, I realized something terrifying. I was starting to like her. God help me, I was falling for a 7-foot alien war goddess with commitment issues and an arsenal bigger than Earth's Navy. And the scary part? She might actually like me back. The trial of truth wasn't held in a forge, an arena, or a training hall. It was held in silence. A circular chamber of glass and starlight, floating somewhere at the top of the Val'kara. No weapons, no audience, just me and her. Zalvanna stood at the center, wearing something softer than armor, ceremonial robes, deep blue, embroidered with golden scars. She looked human, almost. She gestured for me to sit. I did. Then a voice, not hers, but something ancient and telepathic, echoed in my head. Speak your truth. One cannot bond if they carry lies. I blinked. Oh, we're just jumping in the deep end, huh? Zalvanna spoke first. When I was young, she said quietly, I trained for war. For duty. For legacy. I've never known softness. Never been touched with affection. My mother died in the arena. My mate was chosen by politics. He died in combat. I never mourned him. She didn't flinch. She didn't cry. But her eyes dimmed. I have never laughed until you. I swallowed. I was never brave, I admitted. I fix crates. I tell bad jokes when I'm nervous. I flirt when I feel small. And next to you, Zalvanna, I've never felt smaller in my life. Her expression didn't change, but something in her posture softened, barely. I didn't come here to fight, I added, or fall in love. But I did both. There, I said it. The truth. The room pulsed with golden light. She stepped forward, towering over me, but not like a warrior now. Not a conqueror, just a woman. Fierce, scarred, proud, and unsure. Do you accept me? She asked. As I am? I nodded. Do you accept me? A sarcastic idiot with a very punchable face. Her lips twitched. You are mine, Jake Mercer, and you are terrifying, but also kind. And somehow you become my home. The light above flared. Then silence. The chamber opened. We stepped out, and the crew bowed. Not to her. To us. She took my hand. For the first time, not to drag me or threaten me, but to hold it. You passed all 5 trials, she said, gazing at me like I was a riddle she wanted to solve forever. And I passed the only one that mattered. Which one's that? Letting someone in? They let me keep the blade I forged. Ugly as sin, but it's hanging over our bed now. We travel the stars. Sometimes, she conquers planets. I fix the logistics reports. Occasionally, I get slapped into a wall for saying dumb things. But now, she kisses me after. Our wedding? A battlefield, obviously. With matching armor. She still calls me soft human. I still tell her, but looks tactical. She never stops blushing when I do. And the slap? Yeah, it still hurts. But love? Love hurts in all the best ways.